let's see what the heck is going on, okay? Just with life and with you. If you don't know, I'm Michelle. This is Angel Souls, and I am going to be delivering an angelic message. Now, a lot of times people don't understand what this process is or how this is different from like an astrology reading. Astrology is hard. Tarot is hard. I don't know. Leave me with my angels, and I can just channel them, and then I'll pull out cards every once in a while. We'll do that, okay? But think of tarot and astrology. And if you read either one of those, you read astrological charts or you read tarot cards, please comment down below what you think your esoteric art contributes to the world, to the community, all of it. The way I see angelic messaging is it's not necessarily predictive. If it's okay for you to know something, it'll come up, but angels do not interfere with human free will. So I would put a word of caution out there. If you are coming across, because there's a lot of crossover. This is a hybrid deck. It's kind of based on tarot structure, but has more of an angelic feel about it, right? So there's a lot of crossover that came from somebody way, way, way back in the day who melded the worlds of angelic reading and tarot. Not a bad thing, but that's where that came from, okay, I think. So the difference here, as far as I see it, is you get the more predictive readings, perhaps with even a psychic reading. Tarot is very practical, lets you know what's, it's kind of a close bird's eye view from the fourth dimension, looking upon your third dimensional ego consciousness life, duality consciousness life. That's where you get here are some energies that you might want to watch out for. It could likely play out like this, and this, or psychic readers honing in on one trajectory that has a very strong vibration around it, which means there's a likelihood behind it, right? So they're letting you know that so you have a chance to change your course if you want to do that. Now, I'm a huge fan of astrology. Again, I just think it's complicated. And I just lean on my favorite astrologers to let me know what's up. But in my opinion, astrology is more the blueprint of what's going on for you, right? Like in your story. So angelic readings come in now that you maybe have that information, or you maybe got a reading from someone else and you're like, okay, now what do I do with this information? That's where angels are kind of like they're your guides, right? Your guardian angels, but they're also your coaches, right? They're sort of your therapists a little bit. Now, I'm kidding, okay? Don't use spiritual readings as a replacement for therapy, okay? Make sure you're getting properly treated. But angels help you figure out how to move forward, what to do with this, and they really do help quite a bit with accomplishing what you need to in a certain chapter of your soul's contract, okay? I just threw that out there. Okay, I know. If you want a full video on that, I think I probably have some, but I could do a refresher video if you want that video, kind of going deeper into what I just said. Leave your comments down below. Now, I want to know what the heck's going on. It's wild out in these streets, okay? So let's see what's happening. You want weird? I'm going to give you weird. Hold on. Still with this cough, you guys. I don't even know. All right, listen. I was getting an image of like bedrock. You remember those old like 6th grade science books that had like, it's geography, or no, it's is it geography? It's not geography. What am I talking about? Earth science. Oh my God, what is the word? Anyway, geology. Is it that? I don't know. Comment down below. Let me know. But you would see the diagram, and it shows the various layers of the earth and all that. I just saw that, but I saw those layers kind of crossing over. Now, people might see that as earthquakes. We had somebody freak out because I mentioned earthquakes and they're in California. Well, then aren't you used to them? Hello? Come on. All right. But that image is showing, I felt like that was almost layers of, or different realms, kind of timelines, dimensions even kind of sliding over top of one another. And then, this is so weird. I know, this is how it comes through. It's bizarre. Just hang with me here. And then there's sort of a dip. And the dip would be kind of interference between these layers. Okay, so a lot of people are, this is wild, lean in. So a lot of people are existing in different, like groups of people are existing in different realms, okay? But, or experiencing different realms, but we're kind of next to each other, yes? So this is the idea of the splitting of third dimensional ego consciousness and fifth dimensional energy, your fifth dimensional self. But this is a little different. Like worlds will collide. They already are, right? Like that's not new. That's not that profound, but it's going to worsen. Now, there is a sense here of people who have been, and I said this in a previous video, and people also got offended. I ain't bothered, honey. I've been doing this for over 11 years. Do your thing. Get mad, stay mad. If you don't like the tone, don't set the tone, okay? Period. But, we got to give it to you real. The idea here is to coach you through these moments. So if you have been spiritually fortifying yourself, you'll find, and don't be so hard on yourselves out there, you'll find that when something comes up, you actually react very differently than maybe you would have before. Okay? Like you get through it a little bit calmer. It might still rattle you, but you don't hang on to it so long. And mostly it's people who are deep in the 3D realm, which isn't bad necessarily, but they're the ones that are shouting and getting wound up and trying to come at other people, and they want to really be in the fight because they still get a charge out of that. So not saying that they're evil. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that like I don't find any thrill in debating people. I don't get a thrill out of that. Some people do. Now, it could be how you're, again, astrologers could come in and speak about different personality traits and how someone's kind of wired in their blueprint to respond to things. And that's part of their soul's contract, is how they're supposed to experience their storyline. There's that. But then there's just flat out power struggles. Sometimes they're meaningful and necessary. Not power struggles, but, being assertive, right? That could be very, very helpful. But what we're seeing someone's viewpoint of what's worthwhile getting mad at is not somebody else's. And so there's going to be a lot of misunderstandings. So this could be on a very personal level for you. So be ready for that. And just know that it's serving you somehow. I mean, and it might be something, it's very much like, yes, something may happen that you're like, oh, that's an inconvenience, or, oh, that was a close call, but you don't realize what it could have been. So some of you might be experiencing that as well. So I'm seeing something about little souls coming in, being born in. It's interesting. They're only choosing certain types of people, the baby souls, okay? The baby souls. They're only choosing certain types of people because others can't be distracted from what they need to do, okay? And they're dropping in very intentionally into certain family units, which we know, like if you have ever been a scapegoat of your family, same kind of thing. You weren't dropped. You chose to be in that family unit. It's going to help you on your soul growth. It's good training for you, and it can be healing for the people around you. If you're getting triggered, just let what I'm saying go. Okay, that's not the idea here, and I am not the target for your anger. I will return to sender so fast you may fall over. Okay, I don't mess around with that. Cool? Keep it chill. So, what do we need to take from this? And then we'll get some cards here. I want you to be examining how you respond to things. What types of behaviors do you accept? Can you stand up for yourself? You know what I'm saying? And that might mean walking away from certain groups of people, unapologetically walking away from certain groups of people. There's a group that I know that I went in and I was, trying to be active in this group and contribute. And then I got completely overlooked when it counted. But when they wanted me to do something that nobody else wanted to do, oh, then they remembered my contact information. So, not full on just cutting and running, but like I'm not going to give as much of myself. Why should I? Right? So you might be coming across things like that, but out in the world, I think we're going to be seeing some very, very, very curious happenings, the likes of which we've never seen, and also part of those layers overlapping. Someone else's reality is not yours. And we want to be careful of fighting each other on that. That will cause a war. Now, that doesn't mean sit back and do nothing about important topics. We always want to be looking out for one another. But the idea here is to have more cooperation and less conflict. Well, Michelle, that sounds so nice. Like blah, blah, blah. What'd I just say? I am not a target for your nonsense. No, okay? I understand. We have to get through some stuff right now, for sure. I had said several years ago that this would be a rebuilding period. Well, you don't rebuild overnight. So it's going to be a slow kind of grinding process, and we're going to make mistakes, and then stuff's going to have to be rebuilt, like torn down again, even though you just started, and rebuilt. So there's a gift in this, though, because now you can create anything, and you can choose what you engage in, right? I'm not into spiritual sidestepping. I'm not into false positivity. I'm also not going to be angry about something because someone tells me I should be. I'm not going to... I'm stubborn. I'm a Taurus rising, so I'll be over here just lazing around like it's someone's like, get up and do whatever. Oh, this cough is killing me. Get up and do whatever. And I'm like, no. And it's not like I'm actually trying. It sounds like I'm trying to have a power struggle. It's not that. It's when I feel that it is right for me to stand up and take a certain action, I will be inspired to do so. It's not that I don't care about certain issues. It's not on my path to do that part. Might be on their path. Might be something that, they're supposed to be doing or you're supposed to be doing, but maybe it's not something I'm supposed to be doing. Does that make sense? I know this is kind of all over the place, I realize. But let's bring it down to earth here with the cards. Let's see. Two of Raphael. Okay. Now, this can mean, let me put it here so it'll focus a little bit better, hopefully. This can mean definitely that you are getting a love partner coming in or you're deepening a love connection. That's usually what this is talking about. But I think in the spirit of this whole reading, this is talking about cooperation. And, hi. Okay. It's talking about more about cooperation and helping your neighbor. I just had a neighbor help me out. And it was a crisis happening, and a neighbor came out and helped me, and it was so lovely and wonderful. I know I'm not talking about the guy who came and cleaned my car off. It was another thing that happened over the weekend, another crisis that happened. Yeah, that's why this is coming up on Monday, right? It seems like there's always something that gets in the way of these messages getting out. So thank you guys for being here and listening. So this says 2 arts dedicated to creating something wonderful. Kindred spirits. Don't give up on those you love. Now, be careful of like falsehood, self-righteousness, self-indulgent type behaviors. What does self-indulgent type behavior look like? It can look like somebody who will not stop talking. They don't care if you are interested in what they have to say. Now, I'm not talking about somebody who's just kind of chatty, and they just like to share because that's how they connect. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the person who will hold you captive because they're being self-indulgent. I want to talk, and I don't really care whether you want to listen or not. I'm important. Or, trying to tell you something on the run, like you're running off somewhere else and they're trying to tell you something because they just want to get it off of their plate. That's the kind of thing that, again, it's self-indulgent and can be very self-centered. Not in every case, but it can be. Other self-indulgent kinds of things. It's mostly like narcissistic traits. It's all about me. I'm going to twist it around so you're to blame. whatever. Okay. I think we've talked about that enough. So in this spirit of cooperation, you can't just take that message and go, well, I got it, and I'm just going to be nice to everybody. You can't. I know it's going to sound weird coming out of like an angel medium, but even Michael's a warrior. Archangel Michael's a warrior. Metatron, very strong, very strong presence. So you don't have to be a pushover, and you don't have to be fake and phony, because if you're like, no, I'm nice to everybody all the time. No, you're not. That's such a lie. Lies and deceit. No, you're not. You can. You can, because baby, you've got a solid body like the rest of us. You have an ego consciousness like the rest of us. You have an ego mind that will flip on and do whatever it needs to protect your beingness. Okay? So we're here on this earth plane to experience the range of emotions from the worst to the best. Yes? So anybody who's trying to sell you something, right, on, oh, I'm above it all or whatever, and I've said this a million times over, anybody who tells you how spiritual they are lying. They're more about what it looks like than actually embodying it. Someone who is very, they are in the divine energy. They don't have to talk about it because you feel it. It just exudes off of them. Okay? That is a far cry from what we've experienced for several years now. Stretching all the way back to 2008, when all this stuff really, really, really started hitting more, maybe it was more like 2012, where it kind of started hitting more the mainstream. And people were like, oh, I like that as my identity. I'm looking for one of those. I never crafted one for myself that was from anything authentic. And maybe that's from some personal struggles. And, I'm not trying to diminish that. But people try to latch on to something that they weren't truly connecting to and thinking, I speak it into being, and so it is. Well, yeah, words are spells. Words can be very, very powerful. But the embodiment is something else. That is taking in the energy. It's letting it inhabit you. It is living in that, right? And that's the part that people weren't doing. They just wanted to make sure that they seemed really cool. The high priest. Okay, so this card is basically saying everything I just said. All right, so there's the visual for it, and I'll read this. It's number 2. So being balanced. I'm telling you, do not get in the fight, and you don't want to be complacent either. It's so sorry. Do I have most people who've just been following me for years and we're like family, like for real, like family? Thank you for your understanding. Or if you're doing, you're like, what is this lady's problem? She's just rambling. Welcome. Okay, there'll be more of that. Sure. So 2 is the number of balancing, the high priestess. Again, it's everything I was just saying. And Archangel Haniel. Haniel is all about balance. Haniel is about the divine feminine and being nurturing towards yourself and embodying that wisdom. And yes, I'm even feeling like connection, like heart center to the earth, which again is what a lot of people love to identify with, which is beautiful if you're authentic. Okay. By the way, she helps with hormonal balancing as well. Now, some people laugh at that, but it's not funny. Why are you laughing? Okay. Cortisol is a very real problem for many, many people. The divine feminine, anything that is feminine energy has been squashed, right? So it's starting to come back. I'm putting this so simplistically just to get through this. All right. Sorry. Powerful psychic insights, reflection, and meditation that provides valuable information. Be at peace. So there you go. You can't just be living on the surface and getting, is this going to focus? Or was it focused? I don't know what's happening. Was it okay? I don't know. We're going to move on. Anyway, we need to... Yeah, because I'm hearing like if you're living on the surface and you're getting all caught up in stories, don't bury your head in the sand, pretend like things aren't happening. But also see things for what they are. And you'll know because you're looking with your inner sight. I said that. I did. I like it. Or as I have said in previous videos, you feel it. You sense it with your whole being. And you don't have to be clairsentient to understand that. I mean... The wind just picked up. you don't have to be clairsentient to feel something. You already have that as a pretty strong ability, no matter who you are. And you can hone that a little bit more if you wanted to. But you know when something is not for you. So unless you get a personality disorder. Okay. 9 of Gabriel. Stay determined and move forward. Be prepared for any possibility. Environmental activism. There's that connection to the earth again. And this is depicting a little bit of what we see on social media, where they're like January 2025 has lasted 10 years. Because it just feels like one thing after another keeps popping up. I think that's what that is indicating, that 9 of Gabriel. And how do we get through? We got the 2 of Raphael. We're doing great. Anyway, you remember it. 2 of, I can't hold it up. 2 of Raphael, and then the High Priestess has the number 2 on there as well. So this is partnership. And this isn't necessarily partnership in the sense of what is happening. That a deck just fell over. It's a mess. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging with me. But anyway, so this isn't just like I'm going to pair up with somebody who agrees with me and it's us against the world. But rather living in harmony. Let every exchange, as much as you can contribute, let it be a partnership. Unless someone is like just evil, then we shut off that partnership. This is gravitating towards people who can understand your heart-centered nature. Queen of Michael, here's that feminine energy again, but also no nonsense. Like no nonsense. Brilliant, self-reliant, insightful, humorous. You know exactly what to do. Trust your instincts, okay? The benefit of experience, a time for your career rather than relationships. I think this is knowing how to get through any crisis while other people are running around screaming and hollering. You're going, no, I know what's happening. I understand what's happening. I can feel what's happening. And I see your comments, and they're so beautiful. And especially when you guys say, no, I'm riding out the storm. I'm observing, but I'm not getting invested. And we're going to pull one more here because we have more feminine energy. So make sure you are nurturing yourselves. This is Queen of Gabriel. So Gabriel helps release some of those stuck emotions that can get stored in the sacral chakra. I said that so fancy. Chakra. They also get kind of stored up in your heart space as well. Passionate, charming, brilliant, independent. You could do anything right now. Go after what you want. The ability to attract helpful people. There's that 2 of Raphael, I think, in the context of this whole reading. And of course, you will have a personal sense of how that affects you. And by the way, I am open now, again, to take on live reading sessions. If you would like a live reading session, email me at angelsouls444@gmail.com and let me know what country you're in, how much time you want, and yeah, and then we'll just get it. Oh, and what days might work best for you. Here's the thing. If you reach out and inquire about a reading and then you know you don't follow through and you don't submit payment, I do make note of that. Like, who's in here just trying to get attention and who's serious about getting a reading and doing some work. So I do pay attention to that. Now, if you don't want to go that route, you can get a standard reading. Again, if you're overseas, email me because taxes get complicated. There might be another way as of the new year. I'm still investigating that you don't have to go through Patreon. It's a mess. But anyway, we'll work it out if you want to. And I do a response to a few of you who have reached out. The reason why I didn't get back to you right away is because I was working on another solution. Okay. So there's that. But you can go to angelsouls444.com for a standard reading. It doesn't take any time commitment on your part. You submit your form with your questions, some information. I record it for you. I get it sent back. Please make sure that you are sending me a working email. This happens quite a bit. And it gets complicated because I can't get to you. And please remember which email you requested that I send it to. Because of security reasons, I can't just be willy-nilly sending it around. I really have to know that it's you before I send it. And plus, I already sent it once. Don't make me send it again. Okay? Okay. So feminine energy. Getting rid of some stuck emotions here. which then kind of leads into, again, be careful how that's coming out. Be careful who you're spending time with, not in a judgmental sense necessarily, but you will have some not so nice energies trying to come in and derail you because things are cracking open and this energy is being released. Now that's to be transmuted to get on out of here, so it has to happen. But it can be kind of uncomfortable in the process. Final thoughts on this. The message is coming through. Be careful of people who are very self-righteous. I also said this in another video where they try to come off like they're on the side of right and everybody else is stupid, or they neglect people. Like, you know, oh, I couldn't make you a priority because I was so wound up on this X, Y, and Z thing that was happening. That's usually a sign of someone who's not very healthy-minded, and definitely, you know, I don't know about their personality and what's going on there, but those are not, if someone truly cares about you, they're not going to, you know, overlook you or neglect you because they're upset about something that's going on out in the world. They're going to remember you. Now, unless it's right at your doorstep, okay. The little anniversary celebration is going to have to wait, okay? That's not what we're talking about, obviously. But I'm just seeing this a lot, like this self-righteous, like, oh, you know, diminishing other people. You know, oh, you're basically saying you're stupid if you don't believe like me. Well, you had better stop and look at what you're doing, because it's exactly what you're accusing the other side of doing. You're embodying that yourself. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. So those are the things that we want to be mindful of. And we all do it. I've caught myself so many times being like, you know what? You know, that person always has to try to fix everything. And I was like, oh, wait. Oops. I mean well, but it doesn't make me any less annoying. Okay, so let's do better, right? All of us together. Again, angelsouls444.com for a standard reading, or email me if you're overseas, or if you would like to get a live session with me, angelsouls444@gmail.com. I am sending you all so much love, and take care.